Hi, we're back.
Hit us, and it feels like 5 years since we've recorded.
It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, the past week has been so long. I'm glad to be back to normality.
Mm-hmm. It's also been 2 days longer than normal since we record.
I know, which is why this has felt like an eternity.
Yep.
Again, this is like my one sanctity of the week. This is something that I actually look forward to and greatly enjoy. And I have been, like I said, it's been a week.
Has been a week. Been a week for me too. We have a new person at work, and she is from Osaka.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna piss her off by asking her questions about Japan.
No, that's actually great. Ask all of the questions.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's very, very sweet, very, very kind.
Nice.
And doing great. First week, learning lots. Very overwhelming, but doing great.
Hell yeah. That's what's up. That's awesome.
Yeah, Buddy Daddies is what we're covering this week. By the way, we're BnB Anime. We forgot that part.
Yeah. I'm Blue. That's Brad.
Yeah, I am Brad. Nice to meet you.
Literally every time I'm the one that introduces us, I always say it backwards for giggles.
Yep. And I am an elf. Just saying.
You are an elf.
I'm an elf.
And you make a phenomenal elf. Good God, that cosplay was phenomenal. You looked absolutely amazing. I could not gush enough.
Thank you. It only took me like a month to put together. It was so fun. It was so fun.
That's awesome.
I did lots of arts and crafts on it. By the way, if you want to check out pictures, you can go over to my Instagram, shameless plug, Blue Lavenders on Instagram. I'm sure it's around. You can find it. I don't know. Like if you look if you search BnB Anime, you can find me through that. It's probably easier than typing up my handle because my handle's complicated. But yeah, I went to a Ren Fair this past weekend and had a fantastic time. It was the Wentworth. It was the Wentworth Ren Fair in just outside of Hamilton, Ontario. It was the first Wentworth Ren Fair, which I didn't know. I didn't know it was their first ever Ren Fair, which was super fun. Yeah, they did a great job. They're connected with the Oxford Ren Fair, which is like a really big Ren Fair in October here in Ontario. But this was the first time that they did one in like spring, summer, because obviously the October one is like autumnal more. And by the time October comes around here in Canada, I mean, in Ontario, it's not as bad, but it's properly autumn by that time, you know? Like in Alberta, it snowed a couple of times in September. So, I mean, Ontario is a little bit different in the weather, but like it's autumn, which is great for Ren Fairs a lot of the time because you get to wear like cloaks and capes and, you know, like actually layer up. That's one thing I always, okay, sorry if the ADHD is a little bit much today. I feel like it's a little much today. But that's one thing I've always thought about like those LA Ren Fairs, like the huge ones, is like, aren't you overwhelmingly sweltering in all of your garb?
You would think so.
Yeah, because like they always have them in like July, and I'm like, in LA you think that you would have it in like January because the weather doesn't change. like you could have it like any time of year that isn't the hottest month of the year, and yet they still seem to always have it like right in the middle of summer. And I'm like, okay, I mean, fair enough, but like, okay.
I mean, it's the same thing here. Like all the big festivals and whatnot are always during the summer. And it's like, why? I mean, I get it because kids are out of school. So that way, you know, capitalist society, make as much money as possible. Kids are out of school. So therefore that many people coming and all that type of stuff. But good God, like whenever they're like dressing up and stuff like that involved.
Yeah.
No.
And I will say, like, from the experience that I have had from going to things like historical fairs and Ren Fairs and that kind of thing, it tends to be fairly adult. Like, you get the occasional family, but from my experience, like, teenagers and up, like, and it's not like there's alcohol or whatever. Like, there's no alcohol. It's just that the content tends to not be very, like, kid entertaining. Like, families don't really, unless they're families within the nerd community already, you know? Like if they've got, like, nerdy parents who have been to the Ren Fair, then they might take their kids along. But, like, it's not, like, a normal person thing.
Yeah,
like, you gotta be pretty nerdy.
Normies. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so my experience has been that, like, the youngest, like, I think I saw maybe like 20 kids at the Ren Fair this past weekend, and that's probably max. Like the vast majority of people were above the age of 16, which I personally prefer because I love adult spaces. I don't like to be around children.
I mean, that's 100% understandable. Whenever I went on my cruise last year, the top deck of the ship is basically entirely for adults.
Yeah.
Like they have their own private jacuzzis and that type of thing. And it was so quiet. And my God, it was one of the most fun things that I've ever got to enjoy because it was just tranquil. It was peace.
Yeah. I think there's really something to be said about having like kids spaces and family oriented spaces and then adult only spaces. And that doesn't mean that the content between the spaces has to change, really. Like it's the same thing. It's just that sometimes, like, you just don't want to be around kids. Like, I love them, but they're exhausting.
Yeah, like it's one of the jokes I love to make anytime I'm over at Trees or, you know, around anybody else that has kids. I love the kids that are around me, like all of my god kids and everything. Like I adore them. My nephews, all of them, adore them to the ends of the earth. But whenever they get loud, I can hand them back.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like, I mean, I don't have any children in my life and haven't had any children in my life ever, really. Like, I'm the youngest of my family, and then I'm the third youngest of my greater family. And the two that are younger than me are younger than me by a year and then 2 years. So, like, babies were not a thing. And then my cousins who started to have babies kind of were having them around the same time that we emigrated. So then, like, I didn't even get, like, cousins having babies when I was, like, even a teenager because I was on the other side of the world, right? So my only real experience with kids in general is the 3 kids that I've babysat. That's it. Yeah, so I don't know how to human around small humans.
And, like, I can. Now, like, newborns and like around that age where they're not able to support their heads, like I refuse to hold or do anything like that with because I'm not going to be responsible if the child breaks. I mean, I realize that they're not going to break, but still it's like it's so fragile and I'm so me. Like giant burly man who throws around heavy ass paint buckets for a living. So therefore, this thing that weighs the epitome of nothing being in my arms, I'm like, I'm scared. I'm terrified.
Yeah, no, you saying that just, like, we have these 5-pound bags of coffee, and, like, the idea of, like, 2 of those being a human fucks with me.
Yeah, like, it's unreal.
Yeah, like, I'm slinging those all over the place, like...
Oh, that just made me think a child weighs as much as a gallon of paint. Oh no.
Yeah. Like in that, like, that's weird.
It's so strange. Like trying to formulate like weights and then thinking about what I do for work and like what that equates to. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 2 5-pound bags of coffee as a child. That's like, I don't know. That's like, yeah, that's probably like one of those like coffee canisters that I'm like chucking all over the shop.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it. Children are scary.
They're freaking terrifying. And like, I've never held a baby. The youngest child I have ever interacted with since I was about 14 is 3.
Huh.
And that was for like an hour with their parent right by them.
Yeah, the last time I held a newborn or something like that, like they stayed in my arms maybe a couple of minutes before the parent, whoever it was, because I literally cannot remember who this was with at this point, was just like, you look very uncomfy. Do you want me to take them back? I was like, yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah, absolutely.
I just, I don't want to be that guy because I love kids and kids love me. Like there is a reason why Tree's kids know me as Uncle Tower. Because I'm 6'4" and kids literally see me as a jungle gym.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm strong enough to let them treat me as a jungle gym because I will also throw them across the room onto something squishy. I'm not going to throw them on the floor, but I will find the nearest couch and launch them onto it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah, funnily enough, though, on the discussion of kids, Buddy Daddies.
Buddy Daddies.
That was like our best segue in like ever.
It really was. I don't know how we like fully ended up on the topic of kids, but my God, we could not have planned that any better for this.
But we're only 10 minutes in. I don't feel like we've rambled enough.
You know what? It's fine. I'm good with talking about how my week has been. It's been a week.
Yeah.
I'm not frustrated. It's okay.
No.
It's okay. I'll ramble about all the bullshit that I have going on after the podcast is over, because I will not have any of this be used against me in any way, shape, form, or fashion going forward. However, you know what I did today?
What?
I put up insulation in a roof.
Ooh, I'm still gonna laugh at the way you say roof.
It's fine. But yeah, so my uncle is opening up.
That was so dead. It's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine that you laugh at me about that. Yeah, no, it's totally cool that you laugh at me the way I say roof. It's okay. I'm not mad about it at all.
Roof,
it doesn't hurt my feelings.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's okay. It's okay. Literally, our whole dynamic is giving each other shit. So if you want to laugh at me over the way I say roof and room, feel free.
I will.
Okay,
yeah, I will. It's fair. I'm not planning on holding back anytime soon.
Okay, good. Don't. I would be disappointed in you if you did.
Did you? What was that?
What was what?
What was that? A sneeze or a cough?
It was a cough, but I tried to mute my mic on the Rodecaster so I could get it out, so that way I don't have to edit that out after the fact.
I just caught the tail end of it, and it sounded like one of those like girly sneezes, or it's like, yeah. I was like, why? Since when is that how you sneeze?
Wait! I got this.
Yeah, that's canon. That's how you sneeze.
Oh, I love this Rodecaster and everything I can do with it, so I can just do shit like that. But yeah, so my uncle's opening up a new restaurant, and so we had to go put in insulation in the roof before they put up metal, because he initially intended on leaving the ceiling open and with the rafters and everything exposed. But come to find out, it's summer, and doing that with no insulation is kind of not good.
Oh.
So yeah, they decided to insulate it and then put up some metal to seal in the insulation to try to keep it cool. So yeah, I have put that up today, and I still feel incredibly itchy, even though I showered and scrubbed the absolute hell out of everything. That's also why I'm coughing, because even though I was wearing a respirator, I still feel like I inhaled a lot of dust and insulation dust.
Asbestos.
Pretty much. So
Better not be.
Look, okay, I just want to make it to Japan. So just as long as it takes hold after Japan, I'm good. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, sure, yeah, totally.
Oh, my poor lungs. Oh, all the abuse they've been put through over the years. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Speaking of lungs, well, not really. My allergies are playing up, so I can't see very well right now.
I'm also having trouble seeing, but that's because I lost my contacts.
What'd you do that for?
So listen, okay? Here's how I do things. I will go through my 3 months worth of contacts, and then as soon as I put in my last pair out of that pack, I will go and order more. Well, I put in my last pair, and I go to order more. They're closed. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just go tomorrow and do it because they'll be open. And lo and behold, that night, my right contact lens falls out while I sleep. So I wake up and I'm like, it's a little blurrier than normal.
Yeah.
And the thing about contacts is whenever you have the ones that you can wear overnight, like sometimes at night, like they slip off a little bit, like, or they slip off of the cornea or whatever the fuck.
Iris.
Iris, that thing. Whatever the fuck the colored bit and the black bit and the eyeball are. I don't know.
Iris
I don't know
people.
eyeball anatomy. Yeah, that thing. Anyway. So whenever you wake up, like sometimes you just gotta, smoosh it over a little bit, get it back in place, and it's fine. Yeah. So I was like, let me just sit here and like poke around like all the different corners of my eye and make sure it didn't slide over. Nope. Straight up gone. Like, well, this is a problem. So I get to work because for some reason I left my glasses at work and pop out my other contact and put on my glasses, and now everything is blurry outside of the frames.
That's fun. Everything's blurry for me 24/7 because I never wear my glasses and don't own contact lenses.
You should wear your glasses.
I should. My dad's an optician.
I feel like we're back to the old streaming days of either having to yell at you to A, wear your glasses, or B, wear your wrist brace.
Oh, also not wearing that currently.
When do you ever, mate?
I mean, okay, I will say, I wore my wrist brace for like a week, but I wore it at work last week, and it got covered in espresso, and like, even though I was like being good and wearing my health and safety gloves and shit, it still got filthy. So I washed it, and then I put it in a place to dry, and it's different in the different spot than usual, and therefore it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my goodness. It's okay. I get it. I realize how ADHD works because I'm literally the same way. If I put something where it doesn't go, it just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Object permanence is literally a myth for people with ADHD. It's fine. Oh, it's okay. Everything's fine. Yeah.
So at some point I will discover it and then put it on, and then it'll go back to its normal spot. But
that'll be fine.
Yeah, we have time between now and then to see when that happens.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
You'll find it eventually.
Yeah, maybe. I also have to wash my work apron. We'll see when that happens.
Don't you have to work tomorrow?
No, actually, I'm off tomorrow.
What? Off on a Sunday?
On a Sunday. I have Sunday, Monday off.
The hell?
I know, which is really weird because technically it means my days off are apart because I have Sunday off of this week, and then Monday off of next week, and then Sunday off of next week. So, like, my days off are technically split, but they're not.
Mate, you do realize that Sunday is the start of the week, right?
Sunday is the end of the week.
It on a physical calendar. Sunday is the start of the week, but it's okay. I get it. As working individuals, Monday is the start of our week. Oh, I can't with you.
Sunday's the end of the week. Monday's the beginning of the week. Oh, the week goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously.
But if you look at a calendar,
it starts on a
Saturday.
Monday.
Excuse me?
Is this a cultural thing? Have we discovered a new cultural difference?
The physical calendar goes Sunday to Saturday.
No, it doesn't. It goes Monday to Sunday.
Excuse me?
Okay, the Google one goes Sunday to Saturday. I will give you that.
Because that's correct.
My work schedule calendar goes Monday through Sunday.
Because as businesses.
Yeah, but so does
Monday is the beginning of the work week.
No, but so does my like written agenda calendar goes Monday through Sunday. Okay. Like the one that I handwrite everything in is Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, so listen. Is it a planner?
I have a planner and I have a calendar. Both of them start on a Monday. Just say it.
Okay. Do me a favor. You have your phone on your desk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Open up your calendar app for me.
I just did, and it's what yours says. It's what you say. But both the work one and my physical one are Monday through. But this is also American because it's a Google phone.
I have an iPhone, and I still know I'm right.
American.
All right, look here. I'm not even going to go there.
But still, my days off are technically split because I'm going by the work calendar.
Again, I get it. Because the work week is literally Monday to Sunday. I get it. It's fine. I understand. It's okay. I'm not going to throw things.
You say rough, you can't talk.
All right, look here, you tea-sipping maple leaf. I love you and all, but I'm not going to sit here and take this abuse.
You actually will, though, because I don't expect that you're going to stand up.
You're right. My knees are too bad for too much standing.
That's what I thought.
Look, I will book the next flight to Toronto. Don't you test me.
Is that a guarantee? Can I get a piggy promise?
Oh, if I had my passport.
If only.
Oh,
I have 2. Take that.
I should probably fill out the paperwork and get my passport sometime between now and next year.
Yeah, might be a good idea, you know.
I'll get to it, okay? ADHD, man, it's a bitch.
I know, my wrist brace is somewhere.
Oh my god, this episode has been an ADHD nightmare.
It really has. You know what I learned the other day? At a different one of our locations for the coffee shop, there's only one person who is neurotypical in that location.
That's
I was like, poor them.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the things to where I'm at work and I realize like my limitations on things, and then I look at the people I'm surrounded by and I'm just like, I feel so out of place. Someone help. Someone help me, please.
Yeah, it's like, I love my boss, but she still gives me verbal notes that while I'm busy. And I'm like, I love you for doing this and genuinely believing that I'm going to remember this.
I love whenever people tell me, hey, remember this for me. And I'm like, bitch, do you know who you're talking to? I am the epitome of, as soon as you tell me something, it's in one ear and out the fucking other, mate.
No, my favorite things are when I'm like, what size of coffee can I get you? Oh yeah, the medium. And what roast? Okay, the light roast. Perfect, thank you. Would you like your scone warmed up? Okay, yeah, for sure. Goes to warm up the scone. What coffee would you like?
I will have a full conversation with a customer and be like, all right, your paint, interior, exterior. Okay, what sheen? Okay, satin. All right, how many gallons do you want? 3. Okay, literally turn around, walk to the back, come back up to the front. Did you want interior or exterior?
Yeah, 100%. I do that all the time. Or, I'll just be right back. I'm going to go to the stockroom. What? Why am I here? What did I need?
Literally. Oh, and it's one of those things, too, to where literally I'm known at work for being the asshole out of the bunch. Like if somebody needs a customer handled, they come to me because I have the innate ability to info dump somebody so hard that I'll overload their brain and they'll just fucking leave. So yeah, it was one of those things to where, and I'll do that, but somebody gives me an order for paint and give me 2 seconds and it's already out my brain. But I can tell you the cure time on an epoxy that I sold 3 years ago for the old peepee head company that I no longer work for.
Yep.
But heaven forbid somebody give me an order right now. I no.
Yeah. No, fully. I'm 100% the same way. Oh, which reminds me, of asshole customers. I had a lady come in the cafe with her dog the other day, and this is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time that somebody has been like not very nice about it. Because like normally you just say like, oh, is that a service dog? And sometimes people just go yes, and then like, okay, fair enough. Like I can clearly tell that that's not a service dog, but I can't question you on it, so whatever. Okay, I'm not gonna bully you about it. like I don't like that you're doing that because you're making it way more hard for people with actual service dogs to get into spaces, but still, whatever, is what it is. But a lot of the time, most of the people in our community just go, oh, okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And then they'll like either tie the dog up outside just briefly, or we'll just say, I can bring your drink out to you. Like we can make it like once you've ordered and paid, like you can go wait outside and we'll bring it out. And we've got like a dog bowl out there and we have dog biscuits and stuff. Like it's a thing. And like they can stay on the patio, but they just can't be inside the cafe. Like it's a food place. Like that's,
yeah.
I feel like that's pretty standard, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Anyway, so we have like a bar counter, obviously, we're a coffee shop. And when you're behind the bar, you can't often see dogs because like unless you've watched them walk in from the door, they're too close. So you can't see like over and down enough to be able to tell if there's a dog there. So quite often we'll have people come in, order drinks, wait, pick up their drink, and it's only as they're walking out the door that we ever notice that they had a dog in the first place. And by then, like, what are you gonna do? Like chase them out, hey kid, why did you bring your dog in here? Like, they're already gone. So like in those circumstances we're just like, okay. But this lady, she went and sat down at one of our tables in the back end, right? And like, again, we didn't notice this whole time. She'd ordered her drink. She'd gone down. She paid for a drink. She had it in a to-go cup. Like she didn't order it for here. And then she went and sat down at one of our tables. And we didn't notice this whole time. Like there was like 3 of us and none of us saw that she had this dog. And then I went to go and change the garbages down that end. And I see this butt. And I'm like, that's not human. And so I'm like poking my head around the corner and I'm like, that's a dog. She's got like, and it's like a pretty, like a good size, medium size, like a pit bull, kind of like, I don't know, a short hair kind of dog. Gorgeous dog, very well behaved, super quiet, just sitting there nicely, like enjoying their time. Like honestly, if it was my cafe and if it wasn't like a food thing, I would have been just fine letting them stay there with the dog. Very well behaved. But still, I'm the supervisor on scene. And so I go to her and I'm just like, hey, is that a service dog? And she says, we're just sitting here. He's being good. And I'm like, okay, so you didn't answer my question. So I know that it's not a service dog. Like, okay, great. So I'm like, I understand that, but I'm sorry, we can't have dogs inside the cafe. And she's like, but he's being like well behaved. And I'm like, it's not an issue of his behavior. It's a health and safety thing. We can't have dogs inside the cafe unless he's a service animal. And she just goes off on one. Like, he was being well behaved. We were just sitting here. It wasn't even a big deal. Why did you come over here in the first place? We've been here for like 3 minutes, so you haven't even said anything already. Like shouting and getting really mad. And I'm just saying, I'm sorry, it's health and safety. Like, we can't have dogs in the cafe. And I'm just repeating, it's health and safety. It's health and safety. Because I'm like, this is not my decision. Like, your dog is well behaved. I agree with you. Like, it would have been fine. But this is like, there's food here. Like, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like storming and like screaming. And there's her dog this whole time. So well behaved. Such a good dog. She's not. She's gone off. There's 2 customers who had just gone through, I'm assuming a couple, who were just standing there and they're just like talking, and I can feel myself. Like when I get in situations like that, I flush. I'm English. We get our English rose. We like, I get hot and bothered and my face shows it. Like, even if like my expression is calm, cool, and collected, the blood rushes to my head and I know I am bright red. And eventually she just like, I'm sorry, you have to leave. Like, I just put my foot down and I'm like, you have to go. And so she storms out of the cafe, and this couple are just like kind of like just watching and observing and like just looking at me the whole time. And I'm like, I don't expect them to step in or anything, but like they were just like a reality TV show. They were glued on the situation. And my coworker just turns to me and she's just like, you handled that really well. And I'm like, thanks. Which I appreciate it because I was feeling very flustered. But then this couple on their way out, they're just like, thank you so much for your coffee. It's so good here. We love it. And they would just compliment up the wall. And I was like, wow, you feel guilty that you didn't do anything. You just stood there and watched and got all of the gossip. And then you were just like, thanks for the coffee. It's so good. And then left. And I was like, I mean, I get it. Like, what are you going to do and step in or anything? But like, it was so like the juxtaposition between that lady being like crazy and then these two people just being like, oh my god, I love your coffee. It was so odd. In like 30 seconds my brain was like, I can't keep up, like what's going on.
Oh, the bystander effect is real though.
It's so real. And I was like, totally fair enough. Like, I don't expect customers to step in those situations. But it was just bizarre because, like, I made eye contact with them while this lady is going off. Like, just because I was, like, looking around to make sure that everyone was, like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just looking at me and they're just like, ugh! And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But, like, also, like, this is the service industry. We deal with this fairly often. But, yeah, it was just, it's my favorite thing about those situations is the other people in the circumstance. We had this one man a couple of months ago, well, like months ago actually, who was absolutely crazy. He started saying some really bad stuff. And one of our regulars came in like the day after and brought us all flowers because he was just standing there the whole time and didn't intervene or anything. And he felt so guilty that he brought us flowers the next day.
I mean, at least, that was a kind thought.
Yeah. I just find it so fascinating. Like you said, the bystander effect. Like, I find that really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that I just found fascinating to learn about while I was studying psychology. Is just like the way that people do that type of thing. And I know me to the point to where I've intervened in situations where people have been being, giant dick bags.
Yeah.
And I don't expect, like you said, like normal people, like I don't expect normal people to do that type of thing, but I make it a point to actually try to go out of my way and do that, just because you never know like who you could potentially be like saving, and as long as you feel safe enough in that situation to intervene, like I'll do it. Plus, especially if I intervene, who's really gonna stop me?
I was gonna say you could just stand there and just and somebody will run.
And it's the same reason why people don't cock attitudes with me whenever once they hear the customer service voice. Because no, like you're not gonna sit there and cop an attitude with a 6'4", 320-pound dude that uses his, booming lower register.
Yeah.
Like, no, like you don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, I don't know, that side of customer service is so interesting to me because, like, there's a level of professionalism that you're expected to keep, but, like, there's also a level of, like, you're a human.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And it's a fine line between, like how you're supposed to deal with those situations and just, like, okay, get the fuck out. Like, you're not allowed to, like, get out.
Yeah. And I've been the person to do that to people.
Yeah.
Like back at the last job I worked for PPED company, dude came in and was saying some incredibly sexist shit in front of my female associate. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm going to be real with you. I was like, get the fuck out. He's like, what did you just say to me? I was like, don't make me spell it out for you. Get the fuck out. It's like, this is your last warning. And he like stormed off, like cussing, yelling, all that other shit. And my boss looked at me and he was like, you didn't have to say fuck. And I was like, yes, the fuck I did. And the fuck are you gonna fucking do about it?
Yeah.
And we just had a laugh because he knows how I am. Like being in the business that I'm in, we have a lot more freedom in how we can converse with customers, especially customers that we are comfortable with, because most painters cuss.
Yeah.
And so therefore, like if we're comfortable with that individual, we can cuss, cut up, and carry on like however we see fit with that individual. You just gotta, know your boundaries.
Yeah.
And so like this is normal everyday occurrence. And also I don't hide who I am anymore. Like I do wear a mask to some degree whenever I'm at work or, pretty much around literally everyone. But whenever it comes to that type of shit, no, mask comes off and you get the asshole part of me. It's just like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like this is not a filter being worn. Like this is literally like, I will crush you if you do not follow my orders and get the fuck out.
Yeah. See, that's that like level of like back the fuck off. I feel like I've only experienced like once or twice. When I'm at work, I don't go that route. I find I tend to just stick with like I have like a corporate monologue that I have like memorized where I like script things out, you know, and it's not intentional, but it's just like for instance in that circumstance where I was like, it's health and safety, there's nothing I can do, you need to leave. It's health and safety, there's nothing I can do. And I just repeated that until like she realized that I was just a brick wall and like I was not going to say anything else. That was all I was going to say. And she had to leave, or I would like call the police, I guess. I don't know, whatever I was going to do in that situation, but I could see she was going.
Mm-hmm.
But like I just kind of like give them nothing else to go off of. Like I don't change what I say, I just find a line and stick to it and just repeat it until they go. But I have in circumstances of like going out with the girls, because I don't often go out like clubbing or dancing. Actually, I don't ever really. It's only whenever there's like a birthday in my friend group and that girl wants to go dancing that I would even consider it. It's not something I enjoy doing, but I will do it because somebody else wants to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there was this one time, like last summer, where I went out to celebrate a birthday for that exact situation. And we went out, and there was this one girl who she didn't drink like at all in her daily life and hadn't eaten before we'd gone out. And she'd had a couple drinks, and they just hit her like really hard. I don't know if she was feeling run down or sick, or if she's just like got a really low tolerance. Either way, she got very sick. And like it hadn't been that long, like we were all pretty sober, and she was sick. So my one friend, who's normally, I would consider her like the pit bull of the group, like she's normally like pretty vocal and loud, but she was in mother mode taking care of this person who was sick. And so the rest of us, we were on the side of the street. This girl was ill, and the rest of us were just kind of like standing around trying to like block a view, you know, of her getting sick. And these guys walk past, and I'm tall. I mean, it's we've established here, Brad teases me about it, but like I'm like nearly 5'10", and or like 176 centimeters if you're European. And I wasn't wearing heels, but I think I was wearing like a low heel, so I was probably like 5'11", maybe 6 foot, but probably 5'11".
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like eye level or a little bit taller than these guys that come up, right? And they're trying to get a look, and they're jeering, and they're being like, "Oh, look at her, she's getting sick, it's so early, like what the fuck, like and you know, being dicks." And I just turned to them, and I didn't realize I do this, but apparently I do. I went full English. I just went, "Back the fuck off." And they were like, "What?" And they were like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Get the fuck away from us." And they were like, they were genuinely shaking in their boots. And I was like, "You're going to turn around and you're going to leave." And that's just what I said to them. I was like, "You're going to turn around, you're going to leave." And they just ran. And I was like, okay, the English accent works or something then. Because it was like my Canadian just slipped off. And I just went, "Go. Like, what are you doing here? Leave."
Mm-hmm.
And that really, really works. So the height thing helped, I think, because I'm tiny. Like, I'm tall, but I'm tiny. So honestly, like a stiff wind could blow me over. Like, but being on eye level and just saying, "You're going to leave," that has never been more effective. That worked.
And I mean, hey, it's a good thing that it does work.
Yeah.
But no, like typically, like I have a very similar way of handling things. Like I will always stick behind like the whole audit violation thing as far as work goes. Because that's like our big, like, nobody cross the auditor thing. And so that's just kind of it. So that's kind of what I'll hide behind in situations like that. But again, it's just kind of one of those, like, I'm willing to cross boundaries whenever I find it necessary, depending on who I'm dealing with. But other than that, just stick behind the audit violation, or, like I said, info dump somebody to the point of leaving because I don't feel like dealing with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like everyone handles those situations differently. But like I find that in general, in professional situations, repeating the same thing over and over again helps. And in that circumstance with the girls, just like telling them what they were going to do helped. I don't know if that's like I don't know the psychology behind it, but that worked because like the other girls at that point had like tried to get them to go away and they hadn't really, and so I just like stepped up and I was like, you're going to leave, and they did.
Just needed somebody to be stern enough.
Yeah, and like not yelling. I found like just like saying it helps, I guess. I don't know. It's just like because then it shows that you're like you don't actually like you're calm, cool, collected.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like tone conveys a lot more. Like if you immediately escalate to yelling, you've lost at that point. Like especially if the other individual is like you said, like jeering or doing like something along those lines and being loud themselves.
Yeah.
Then you yelling, like you've pushed yourself to a point of like no return. But being firm and like carrying a certain tone with it, that is going to be a lot more effective because like having that like commanding presence or like that more command type thing is going to elicit a lot more of a different response.
Yeah. While we're kind of on the topic though, I will say this is something that I was taught in my first aid training and I'm going to reiterate it because I think it's important. But with the bystander effect, in theory, if you are in a situation where nobody is helping you, but you need help, if you point to someone who is standing around watching or is walking past or something and it is stuck in the bystander effect, they're not helping. If you point to them or if you call them out by like what they're wearing or, you know, what they look like, it can help break people out of the bystander effect because it brings them into the situation. They're no longer a bystander. They're part of the situation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I was taught with my first aid because it's like if you're performing first aid, you point to someone or you describe someone, you say, hey, you with the blue hat, you call 911 or you with the, you know, you there, go get a first aid kit or whatever it is. Like, because otherwise if you just say somebody call 911, chances are nobody will. Or, you know, yeah, like you need to bring people in.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Life advice from BnB Anime.
But yeah, speaking of life advice, not as good as our earlier transition, but we'll go with it.
Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Close
My
enough.
keeps creaking. Buddy Daddies.
Buddy Daddies. So, Buddy Daddies is an anime original. Ooh. It was directed by Yoshiyuki Asai and done by Studio PA Works, which if you are unfamiliar with Studio PA Works, obviously you don't enjoy Pain because they did Angel Beats.
Yep.
And Charlotte.
Yep.
And also you don't enjoy Being the Life of the Party because they did your boy Kong Ming.
Yeah.
And it had its original run from January 7th of 2023 through April 1st of 2023 for a total of 12 episodes, although technically 13 episodes because these fuckers had a recap episode, and recap episodes are the bane of my fucking existence.
And it's especially tender this week. Yeah.
I'm not okay. After the way Oshinoko ended last Wednesday, I'm not okay. And the fact that we got a recap episode, I'm fuming. I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
It had better be worth the fucking wait next week.
It's like, we get it. We understand the animators need time. We understand. It still sucks.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. I propose a proposition.
Okay.
You want to start doing Wednesday watch parties for Oshinoko?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Hell yeah. We'll make a plan for next week.
Yep.
Or, never mind, it is next week. I was getting ready to have a whole debacle again. I was like, no, wait, it's Saturday. It's still this week. Oh, my brain's already in next week. It's fine.
Sorry. I was just thinking, so there's a small cultural difference that always makes me giggle, and that's the idea of like one more sleep or two more sleeps, which doesn't exist in the UK.
Wait.
So like, yeah. So it's like if you're like, oh my god, there's 3 days till Christmas, you wouldn't say, oh my god, there's 2 sleeps till Christmas, like you would here.
People say that?
Yeah, all the time.
What?
Okay, so it's just a Canadian thing then.
I mean, okay, so let's cast our mind palaces back about 6 months ago to a point in my life where I was making very poor decisions in the relationship department.
Okay.
That said individual, I could see saying some shit like that.
Okay.
And in fact, probably did say some shit like that. It's just, I figured like that was some sort of like, TikTok bullshit. I didn't think that was legitimately a thing.
No, it's a thing. It's a thing. Because, well, funnily enough, it crept up in my life only a couple of days ago because I was going home with a coworker and we were teasing each other about being like work wives.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were joking about getting a divorce. And then she was like, we were talking about, I think there was a film or something that they brought up about when you meet, oh no, it was a Black Mirror episode where you meet someone and then like there's a countdown above your head about how many days left until your relationship ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was saying, oh yeah, our number is going down. It's like going to be like 2 left or something. No, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be rid of you or something. We were joking about that. And she just goes, oh my God, yay, 2 more sleeps until we're divorced. I was like, you bitch. But
oh my God, 6 more sleeps until we get to record again. Ow.
Yeah. But it made me giggle. And then thinking about the idea of debating on whether or not the end of this week is tonight or tomorrow night, I was like, oh my God, 1 more sleep.
Oh my God.
Which is how I got onto that thought process, because ADHD makes me jump giant holes.
It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
I wish I could jump giant holes, but my knees, man. Can't jump. I'm too white for that.
I was giggling more about the giant hole side of things.
Get your brain out of the gutter. Look, I haven't had to press the dicks button this whole episode. Don't make me push it now.
I mean, you're the one who brought up those. I was talking about holes.
Yeah, but your brain went your brain went in the gutter. Therefore, I'm like, please don't give me an excuse to hit the button, please.
My brain's postal code is in the gutter, okay?
Mine is too. However, this podcast is family friendly. Damn it.
Since when?
Oh, the first 2 episodes. Not that I ever even want to remotely remember those 2 episodes, but those were family friendly.
Yeah, because the first one was just an introduction, and the second one was a family friendly anime.
Well, no, we talked about it. We're like, yeah, we can try to keep it family friendly, and then you drop the first F-bomb, and then I was just like, all right, floodgates are open. Fuck it.
Fuck is a family friendly word.
No, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't know children. Never been around them my whole life. I babysat 3, and I don't understand how I was given the consent to do that. They paid me.
Oh, it's it's a running joke at work. My boss even said this in front of customers the other day. He was like, yeah, this one over here, pointing at me, and he like squats down behind the counter, and he was like, his kid's gonna walk up one day and just go, Dad, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, if I ever were going to have kids, probably. Like, I don't.
No, literally me though. I distinctly, I have a strong memory of being like 4, like young, because I was counting my fingers, like young. And I was going through my fingers, and I was like, thumb, pointer finger, fucking finger, ring finger. I remember that. I remember my mom cracking up. Like, I remember it.
Why is it the fucking finger?
Because it's like the finger that you put up to say fuck you to someone. I didn't get the sexual thing. I was just like, yeah, it's like the fuck you finger. So it's like, it's the fucking fingering thing. Pinky finger.
Oh my god, kids are great.
Yeah. I mean, I must have been what, like 3 or 4, like. Yeah, it's probably one of my earliest memories.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I also love how the thumb is never referred to as a finger. It's just thumb.
It's just thumb. Poor thumb. Never gets a nickname.
Poor thumb. But it's fine. It's what makes us better than most mammals.
I mean, true. Most.
Look, okay, I could sit here and say all, but I don't need people adding me in the comments. Not this week.
Aliens. But yeah, more background because we're an hour into this podcast and haven't talked about anime yet. Buddy Daddies scored an 8.17 out of 10 on my anime list, a 4.22 out of 5, or an 8.44 out of 10 on Anime Planet, giving it a score of 8.31 out of 10 on average. It has a 7.85% dropped rate.
I will blame that on the recap episode.
Honestly, probably. I would be interested. I wish I could record, I wish it had, a record of which episode people dropped it on, but it doesn't, so.
Here's my thing, okay? I dropped this show the week that they dropped the recap episode because ADHD. So therefore, the second I skipped a week, because anytime I see a 0.5 on an episode, I'm like, I'm not watching that because that's a recap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rated a PG-13, but there's a heck of a lot of violence in there, so I will give you that fair warning. Blood, gore, guts, shooting,
smoking,
all of that.
alcohol.
Yeah, smoking, alcohol, gambling, and sex work being a thing as well. But, yeah, it's a gangster shit. It's gangster shit, so whatever gangster shit includes. Yeah, so basic description is that you've got one highly trained assassin and one kind of he's they call him the brains of the operation, but he's also kind of just like a goon, I guess. That's kind of how I describe him. He's not even, I wouldn't even consider him to be if the other guy was the head honcho of the group, the gangster group, mafia shit. If he was the head honcho, he wouldn't even be second in command. He would be a grunt, you know?
Literally.
Yeah. So, but they're buddies, hence Buddy Daddies, and they are living in an apartment together, and then shit happens. And all of a sudden, they have a small child on their hands who is Miri, a young girl. She's 4 and very cute, and they are now taking care of her. The anime consists of shenanigans as they're trying to take care of her, with also some actual, feelings and shit involved. So, it's not all comedy. There is a succinct storyline that takes place over the course of the anime. It is linear, but there are little tiny sketches involved that could kind of happen whenever, and it kind of takes place over about a year.
Oh yeah, it does take place literally a year.
Yeah.
From episode 1 to episode 12.
Yeah. So there are some short little fun episodes that just to the overall storyline are kind of I guess throwaway episodes, but they do provide a lot of really good humor and a lot of context that is fun to watch, and a good world building, character development, that kind of thing. We like those. But yeah, it's a very interesting story. There are some good side characters. There is some interesting topics that get brought up, and they some depth to them, some more surface level. Overall, it's a good watch, and I do recommend that you give it a go. It's not gay, but it's real gay. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Because they're two dads raising a daughter, and it's adorable.
It is adorable. It's a good show. Good watch.
Yeah. So chicken hats. Exactly.
Oh, I'm so pleased with that.
Yeah, one of us is.
Look, okay. You gave me this ammunition.
I did. I regretted it immediately.
Good job.
I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, one of us is.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. So thoughts, feelings, opinions, vibes, overall shit.
Very good story overall. OP good, ED good, animation good. I may or may not have cried.
I also cried.
So that was a thing, but yeah it was good. It was very enjoyable overall. Had a great time.
Yeah.
I'm just a sucker for a good story, and this filled the need for Spy Family.
Yeah, they do have like a lot of crossover.
And I mean, it literally came out the season after Spy Family ended, so everybody was like, Spy Family 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was cool because Miri is a really good option whenever we are Anya deficient.
Yes. Yeah, Miri is cute. I consider her, she's slightly more bratty than Anya. Actually, quite a bit more bratty.
100%, but also I think she's younger than Anya a little bit.
Like, yeah, by like a year. No, they're the same age because Anya's 4 and she's pretending to be 6, right?
Her age is never actually confirmed though.
Okay, fair enough. But she's pretending to be 6.
Yeah, she's somewhere between like the ages of like 4 and 5. Whereas
and then Miri is 4,
yeah, like
and
she's
then
actually
5.
4.
Over the year, she becomes 5, I'd assume.
Yeah. That is a missed opportunity. They never did her birthday.
Yeah.
They did have a birthday episode, just not for Miri.
But Ray, who has a better waistline than I do, just saying.
I wish I had a waistline.
Oh my god. Okay. The other day at work, one of my coworkers had told me that they're trying to not use as many disposable cups and stuff, because we have like actual cups. But they always gravitate towards disposable ones, and they're like, oh my god, I'm like throwing so much away and it's really bad for the environment and stuff. So they were like, this month my goal is to not use them. And so the other day, myself, her, and our boss were working, and she had grabbed a disposable cup and had made her drink in that. So I go, come on, and like I and indicate to what she's doing. And she's like, shit, like I was going to do better at that. Like that was my goal. And my boss kind of overhears, and she looks over and she's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, she's trying to have less of, to create less waste or something. And my boss thought I said, thought I pointed to her sugary drink and thought that I had said she's trying to like thin her waist. And that I was like, pointing out the fact that she had got a sugary drink, was being like, bitch, stop drinking all that sugar. I was like, no, no, I was saying that she shouldn't be using a disposable cup, not that she shouldn't be drinking that. I was like, oh my god, could you imagine? Like your supervisor at work just being like, I thought you were trying to lose weight. Why are you drinking that? I was like, ouch, like you think I would do that?
Then again, like I've been called out for something similar because my boss literally, he overheard me saying something to a customer, and I don't even remotely remember like what I said.
Yeah.
But my boss literally comes like running up to me, and he's like, Bradley, you can't ask a customer how much money they have. And I'm like, that's not even remotely what the fuck I asked. Like, no, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
I was like, wow, our bosses have so little faith in us. But yeah,
Oh my god.
that was just, I was so horrified. We teased her about it for the rest of the day, being like, what are you? She weightlifts. Oh, I did it again.
It's okay. I'll remember that there's 2 to cut out. It's fine.
She probably wouldn't mind either because she's the anime girl, but like, still.
Hey, so listen, we got a podcast that can be listened to. Oh, I should really get business cards made.
Business cards would be fun.
I just leave them everywhere.
Just throw them around.
Just driving down the road. Yeet.
Get one of those. Excuse me, my body malfunctioned. Just get one of those money guns and just like put the business cards in and just go out the road and just like shoot them everywhere.
Oh.
Go to your local rave.
Oh my god, yes.
There was a rave starting at 12 p.m. the other day.
What?
Yeah, some dude came and grabbed a coffee before going to the rave, and it was like 11. And I was like,
who goes to a rave at noon?
I was so confused.
I mean, to each their own, but why?
I don't know. I was like, I mean, all power to you. I know nothing about rave culture. Maybe it's an afternoon tea thing, but like, this is not what I expected when I heard about raves, you know?
You go to an afternoon rave and it's actually the theater with Beethoven playing.
They're all actually ballet dancers.
Also, I don't know why that's the voice I decided to go.
They're doing a rendition of Swan Lake.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm a good chap.
Yes, yes, very good chaps there. Such exquisite refinery.
Do give the excellent host my... I fucking can't anymore.
They're just swapping those candy bracelets around whilst they're watching the ballet and then having some ket.
Some what?
Ketamine.
I was like, wait, what?
I was like, I don't know what they do at raves, but that sounds right.
Oh, I don't know. Molly, ecstasy, LSD.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a hallucinogen. I'm like, yeah, probably.
Shrooms, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Oh, my uncle was talking about how we should ask, how Walker and I should ask our aunt about working Bonnaroo with her because she's setting up an ice truck. I don't know if you know anything about Bonnaroo, but it's basically an excuse for people to go listen to music, trip on drugs, and fuck.
Fair enough.
So I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no.
like
Thanks
that's not my scene, so I'm good. I'll pass. Because I've heard stories of Bonnaroo because one of my best friends used to go. I'm good.
Especially going with a blood relative is like, that's like...
Yeah, no, like I really don't want to be standing there next to Walker trying to serve people ice while people are fucking about 6 rows in front of us, while you also got people over here doing fire poi dancing and then people over on the other side tripping on LSD while the Foo Fighters are playing in the background. Like, no, I'm good. The dogs are fine. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, it just sounds like a Wednesday.
The fuck goes on in Toronto, mate?
You don't want to know what Canadians get up to. They're wild, man. Why do you think they have to apologize so much?
Oh. Then again, I guess I can't really say shit because I've been to downtown Nashville. And have I told that story on here?
I don't think so.
About walking back from a concert and the shit that I've experienced?
No.
Okay, so... oh, cough. Anyway. So, the foreign exchange student and I went to a concert in Nashville. And as we were walking back from the venue to my truck, because the cool thing about Nashville is whenever you go to concerts in downtown, you can go park in one of the lots of the Tennessee Titans Stadium, and you can park for free.
Ooh.
And it's literally right by the big pedestrian bridge that leads into downtown Nashville. So perfect place to park, very well lit, very well secure, all that fun stuff. So we walk to the venue, go to the concert, and as we're walking back, we walk past an alley, and flowing from the alley is a stream of some unidentified liquid at that particular point in time. So I look down, notice the stream, and before like anything can be said, before any of us can even like remotely try to investigate, I hear a lady call from down the alley to my right, "Don't look over here." And I was like, all right, not even remotely going to look over there. We're just going to keep on walking.
Sometimes you just gotta piss, you know?
I get that, but mate, this is downtown Nashville. There are businesses galore. And it would have to be so much safer for a woman to frequent one of these venues to go use the bathroom than to just piss in a fucking alley. And as people are walking by, just don't look over here. It's because literally 2 things. 1, telling somebody not to do something is a good way for that to get done. I did not, because as soon as I heard that and looked down, I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, no, we're going to keep walking. Mm-hmm. But dude, no, like, no. Oh, and that is forever ingrained into me as like one of the most odd interactions I've ever had over something like that.
I mean, I saw a guy pissing in Hyde Park. I feel like guys do it more frequently, though.
Yeah. Still shouldn't do that in public,
No,
regardless of whatever.
He had found a bush. I just happened to be walking through the same bush.
Walking through the bush?
Well, around bush.
Okay.
I didn't want to see any kind of bush at that time, so I kept going.
I was more concerned about what the contents of the bush would be at that particular point in time, so I wouldn't want to be walking through said bush.
No, I was exploring. I was meeting up with a friend in the park. Hyde Park's like, I guess Toronto's version of like, what is that place in New York where it's like there's that really big park?
Central Park?
Yeah, it's like Toronto's version of that, I guess. It's like a big patch of land, kind of on the edge, but sort of in the middle of the city. And I was meeting up with a friend to go have a picnic and stuff, and they were delayed because of the TTC, because transit is slow. And so I just went for a walk through like the woodland area down the side of the park, where it's like not real pathways, but it's treaded footpath, you know? Mm-hmm. And I see a guy, and he's just standing by this like stream, like it's just like a little creek lake thing, pond, you know, like a river thing. And it's pretty, and there's birds chirping, and it's like a nice little area, and he looks like he's just like standing there, like he doesn't have his hands in a place where I'm like, that's a dude peeing, you know? Like he just looks like he's enjoying the scenery. And so I don't pay him any mind, and I just keep walking. And then he also, like, I'm not being quiet. He very clearly knows that there's another person around. And doesn't do anything about it, just still standing there. So I continue to assume that he's just enjoying the scenery. And so I just keep on walking by, and I'm like coming up from behind him, right? And I'm to the right hand side of him by like a couple meters, but like not like far, but like there's distance. And so I'm planning on following the trodden path to go over this little, like, not like a bridge, but somebody put some planks down so you could get over the creek. And I'm planning on just going that way and just keep going forward. I didn't want to disturb him, you know, he looked like he was enjoying his peace and quiet. And I keep walking, and he doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't move. Just, again, still thinking he's just enjoying the scenery. Quickly, though, as I walk up to him, I hear a particular kind of tinkle that is not creek tinkle. And, yeah, and you know how, like, there's a specific sound.
Yep, very specific.
Yeah, and so that's when I put 2 and 2 together. And I cannot help the little squeak that comes out of me. It escapes. And I think that's when he realized I'm female. And that's when I get a reaction from him, where he like, and I see his shoulders rise, still doesn't look in my direction. He's still focused on the scenery. He is determined at this point, I think. And he's keeping eye contact with the tree ahead of him. He's not, like, that's not going anywhere. But his shoulders are slowly rising up to his ears, you know? Like, I can see him, like, get a little embarrassed. So I also don't really know how to deal with this situation. And there's no, like, I can't, like, I could just, like, immediately just turn around and go back the direction I was going, or continue straight on and just walk past him looking in the other direction and just keep going past, you know?
Yeah.
But back, all of a sudden, a family with children walk by. And, like, and now I'm, like, his shoulders are, like, he's like, this, my piece of quiet is gone. He's like, and I don't know, but, like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I cannot draw attention to this man, because, like, that's just gonna make the situation worse. So I choose to just keep going. It was a split decision. So I'm like, go. So I'm just, like, looking in the complete opposite direction, and I'm walking. I'm like, if the family saw me walk down this path, I think they're gonna notice if I squeak and run back out again, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck's down there? And then that's a whole situation. There are children. So I'm just going. I'm just booking it. And I walk across the planks, and I'll, like, just go. And I walk by, and I do a lap around, and like, I go pretty far into the brush, and I come back around, and I'm coming back around again. And then I just see this dude, and I didn't get a good look at him. And I just see this dude all of a sudden, and I'm like, I recognize your clothing. He's now sitting on a boulder with his head just in his hands, just contemplating all of his life experiences. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's what you get for peeing in the city. Like, I get sometimes where you gotta go. But, like, you could have walked further off the path, dude.
Yeah, and you see, here's the thing, okay? As a dude, if you're going to commit said act,
yeah,
I will commend him for acting like he's enjoying the scenery, because obviously, if you're going to take a piss in public, you don't want to draw attention to what you're doing.
No.
You obviously want to make it as nonchalant as possible. Mm-hmm. So I commend that. But don't, like you said, wander off the path.
Yeah, just, like, a little bit.
Don't do it in an incredibly public area. That's how you get put on a registry.
Yeah, I was like, dude, like I don't know. Like, part of me, though, like, in Europe, it's a lot more common to see it. It's just, like, I don't know, like, it's less of a taboo. People have to pee. But then nakedness is a lot more normal in Europe in general. Like, you know, it's just a thing. So, like, it was shocking to me to see it in Canada was the thing that was shocking. Mm-hmm. You know, because I was like, Canadians don't do that. But they obviously do. They're just more discreet about it.
Yeah.
This dude was not discreet. This dude walked 2 meters off the path and thought, good enough.
No, this bush will be fine.
This bush will be fine. Yeah, there's a river. Nobody will hear. I'm like, I did, though.
Got a little squeak out of it.
You did make me squeak involuntarily.
Oh.
Speaking of peeing, there's nothing about peeing in this show.
These segues just keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay though. I'm here for it. It's fine. Show's good. Go give it a watch.
There's a lot of, like, depth to this show that I wasn't really expecting. I mean, you get hints of it within the first couple of episodes with Kazuki's, like, alluded backstory. Mm-hmm. And then the revelation of that is kind of less than I wanted it to be in a way. I mean, that makes it sound really bad because, like, his pregnant wife died, but, like, was exploded. But, like, I wanted more to it than they gave me, I guess.
Well, it's kind of one of those things to where I feel like had they intended on continuing the anime past the first season,
yeah,
I feel like they might have expanded on that a bit.
Yeah. I think where I'm getting a little bit stuck is he doesn't seem to particularly grieve the loss of his unborn child, other than like a couple of flashbacks. He's absolutely grieving his wife more than his unborn child, which I get, but like the premise of the show is him finding a family again via a child, right? So like I would have liked to have seen when he's like talking to his wife at least an acknowledgement to the baby. That was one thing. And another thing, when they did the, like, I guess a montage of what happened to his wife, he takes responsibility for it, as in like, it was my fault that she died, but it was actually just a wrong place. Like, it was a complete coincidence that his wife was in that specific spot. And I think they could have plugged that hole by simply having it have been like we're gonna go on a date and meet up at a place at this time or whatever, and then he gets held up at work, and then the accident happens in the location of where he had planned to set up the date. Like, he needs to be the reason why she's in that spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Because otherwise, it's just a complete coincidence that she was there, and then it doesn't make as much sense that he blames himself, because yes, okay, it was his target that was the person who exploded everything, but it wasn't his, like, they weren't targeting her, like, because then his whole thing is that he can't have a family or anything, he can't have anybody close to him because he puts them in danger. But he didn't put her in danger. She was just in the place at the wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, he needs a reason for her to have been in that spot that makes it stronger, in my opinion.
Oh, no, I agree. I get what you're saying, 100%.
Yeah. And I feel like it would have been super easy for them to have done that, because it could have just been something really simple of, like, you know, of like that, of like, yeah, let's go out on a date, well, I'll meet you at this spot, or, you know, yeah, just like anything that would have brought her to one specific space where then the accident happened.
Yeah, I agree. Again, there were like little plot holes like that throughout the story that I think could have, you know, used a little bit more information, and I wish that there was, you know, gonna be more to the story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, just sad.
Yeah, it's very wrapped up. Which I don't mind that we got a complete conclusion, because I don't particularly enjoy shows that end on an ambiguous note of, we don't know if we're going to get a second season, so we're going to leave you with a hint that we can build off of if possible, but also it's like mostly closed up. That feels, I feel like we experienced that a lot, and it does feel kind of like cheap in a way.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. Especially if it's not set in stone, it is incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
Either give us the full story or give us nothing at all.
Yeah. And I like that this was wrapped up.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a really good ending, too. Like, seeing everybody grown up. Although, if I had to have taken a guess what Kazuki would look like as an adult, I would have nailed it right on the head.
I like as an adult, meaning as a 40-year-old, because he's very much an adult throughout all of this.
He is a child. Both of them are children.
He was married and about to have a baby. He was a full-on adult.
But they both act like children.
True, but that was 5 years ago that his wife died. Like, he's probably 30.
Children. Oh, they are both adults, but children.
Yes, I agree with that, yeah. With Miri's mother, I found the story, I just wanted somebody to tell her, you're dying with cancer. You're gonna die. Like, you don't know when, but you know that it's terminal. Yet you want to take the child that you abandoned out of their comfortable living environment to look after them for however long you possibly have while you die a very uncomfortable death, forcing your child to watch and live that experience with you, to then leave them alone again with no one to look after them. How fucking selfish.
Oh no, I 100% agree. That was one of the things that kind of like ground my gears over that.
Yeah.
Then again, it's one of those things to where I don't know. Like, I I was wondering when they would bring her back into the story.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to take that turn.
No.
But then I don't know. Her death made me sad though.
Yeah, her death did make me sad. In a kind of way of like, it's sad, but it's not as sad because it doesn't feel like a stolen life in a way.
No.
Because she was already going to die. That had been written in the story. So she just died a different way and slightly sooner than she would have already.
Yeah.
But I also really didn't like her as a person.
Oh, no, absolutely not. The second she took Miri away, I was like,
yeah,
fuck this bitch.
That's the thing, is I'm sad for Miri, who loves her mother but doesn't understand her mother at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sad for the innocence of a young child.
Also, I really wish, like, we would have known, like, whether Miri found out.
Yeah.
Because whenever she says goodbye to her mom in the final episode, like, as she's going into high school, and she says goodbye to the photo, I'm like, when did you find out? How did you find out?
Yeah.
So that was a kind of sour note that got left with me on that whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I don't know.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I get that they left the underworld and wanted to live a completely normal life. But part of me wanted to see them, you know, because when he was like, yeah, I can't believe for the past 10 years I've been living a totally normal life. And instead of the joke of like, but you went out with a girl last night, I would have loved a joke of like, yeah, absolutely, totally normal, like that car that you hotwired or something, you know, like I wanted them to still be, this is so dumb, but I wanted them to still be in the crime world, just like more dumb and petty and like, yeah, like he's still like he's doing some like under the table gambling or something. Like I wanted it to be like because I don't think that those two characters, a character that was raised from birth as an assassin and a character that was abandoned, or I can't remember what happened with his parents, but like didn't have parents, like died in a car accident. What was it? I don't know.
I don't
Too
recall.
many anime characters losing their parents.
It's kind of a trope.
Yeah. But either way, raised himself on the streets. Those two characters, I don't think would ever lose that edge to them. I don't know.
I mean, you see them like slowly losing that edge.
Yeah.
So they worked it out well.
Yeah, I was just like something light and sneaky, but like not like just to keep them attached to that, to their how they survived.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Just like, yeah, or like I don't know, just like the hint that they're still as extreme as they were in whichever way that they've shifted that extremeness. But like, you know, like with the field day race where they like mark out their spot with like barbed wire and bombs.
Yeah,
like,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, like that vibe, but just a slightly different application, you know?
I can see it, but also the fact that he got called out for sleeping around, I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
Because there was a play on like the beginning of the show where dude got talked into a casino by a bunch of chicks and then lost everything.
Yep. So those, yeah, and then Ray with his father is also kind of like it's a well-known, well-done concept. Like it's not anything groundbreaking.
No, I think the conclusion of it was done well.
Agreed.
Because the whole, like, instead of, like, more finality on that, like, Ray just shot himself to make him useless to his dad, then he's like, okay, I'm done. Bye-bye.
Yeah. And then the fact that his father couldn't shoot him to kill him leaves you with the implication that his father does care about him somewhat. At least, yeah, I don't know.
And the fact that they haven't had any issues out of him in 10 years.
Yeah.
So that just kind of, like, again, it's why I wish that there was more so we could get a little bit more of the story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's fine.
Well, and also because, like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, like, reading way too much into it, but I also get the implication that, like, these two characters, will not be able to walk away from the underworld with 0 enemies. They've already said, like, not just the organization, but, like, outside of the organization, they have enemies because of their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But it is implied that in those 10 years, they haven't done anything to do with the underworld or anything like that at all. They walked away from it completely. So that leaves me with the thought that either Rei's dad or Kyutaro have been pulling strings behind the scenes to make it so that those other enemies just, like, either don't know they exist or have, like, been taken out quietly or whatever, to be able to give them the family life. And, like, I don't know, that's, like, I'm interested to know more about that bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they would be able to.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I'm left with a lot of questions that I want answers to. Yeah, but I'll never get answers to them, and it's fine.
No, and that's the thing, is that this anime is designed to be just a little bit, like, it's not a well fleshed out, well thought anime. It's not supposed to be, I don't think. I think it's supposed to be like a dumb gangster film, like you used to watch when you were around your grandparents' house because your granddad loved to watch those dumb gangster films. You know, like, it's one of those in anime form.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a good story that had a good ending. It wasn't, like, incredibly fleshed out or anything. It was just there to tell a story, and they told it, and we got the ending on it. So
yeah, and there are some really good characters. There's some really good humor. The animation is great. Rei has a better waist than I do. I'm going to say that again, because that shot of him getting dressed to go meet his dad on the day of his birthday, where he's like, I was going to say, yeah, he's kind of backlit, but he's facing the window. But we're seeing him, like, his silhouette, and he's putting on a white shirt, and it's just his silhouette. Oh my God, his body. I know he's a drawing, but, like, I want that body.
Same.
Yeah, like, that's a figure to die for. My gosh.
I just want to be a figure other than round. Okay, thanks.
Oh.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm working on it. It's okay.
Tennis.
Yeah, tennis. I played this week. It was fun.
You did?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm getting back into it. Elbow's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm no longer, like, trying to play it, like, super competitively or anything like that. I'm treating it as an exercise because at this point I realize I am a 27, almost 28-year-old man. I'm getting older. Therefore, like, and also I have no intentions of taking it professional or anything like that. So therefore, it's a workout. That's what I'm going to use it for. Like, use it as fellowship to go out there and, like, play with friends and hang out and have a good time. And also work off some of this excess fat.
You got to beat. Who is it that you have the bet with?
Well, I did have a bet with Tree last year, but bet over. We never finished it due to issues from last year.
Okay.
Complications that kind of, set the bet off the rails. I just want to get weight off because we're going to Disney in November, and yeah, I don't want to have a bad time like I had at the fair last year. Did I talk about my trip to the fair last year?
I don't know if you did.
So went to the fair last year with the ex, and for one, I think it's well established on this podcast. If not, I'm gonna make it known again. I don't like rides. Like, rides and I just don't get along. They hurt my back a lot. Like, I'm willing to, like, obviously I'm going to Disney in November, so I'm, like, willing to, forego that for the betterment of those around me, and it's fine. But it's not something that I'm just going to outright choose to do.
Yeah.
Because it hurts. Well, the ex really wanted to go to the fair, so therefore I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll go, and then whatever you want to ride, you have at it. Because, again, they hurt. And fair rides are a lot more jerky than normal rides.
Yeah.
So, therefore, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, you go, you have a good time. Well, we go. Obviously, whenever you're with someone, you want to try to, appease them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Therefore, she's like, okay, let's ride this thing. I'm like, okay, I will ride just one thing. and that's fine. We get in it, and everything in a fair is like, all like pullover straps or like lap bars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go down all the way on me.
Oh.
And so I was not fully secured.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we were going on this thing that's spinning very, very, very fast, and spinning multiple directions, my ass was sitting there sliding back and forth across the entire thing.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was very uncomfy. That was very unsafe.
Yeah.
Next ride we get on, exact same thing. And now, granted, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm 6'4", and I carry my weight extremely well because most of my height comes from the waist up, not the waist down. Like, I have a very, like, normal leg size, but my torso is longer than most. So I carry my weight well. But still, like, I am not afraid to admit your boy overweight, your boy fat. It's okay. I'm working on it. I realize this. However, fair rides are not made for bigger people, especially whenever it has like lap bars and shit, because they don't latch properly, and so you're sitting there sliding all over the place.
Yeah.
And I went on one. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm good. And she could visibly tell that I was upset and still pressed to go ride more.
Ew.
And ride more. And turn into like a whole gaslighting thing and all this other shit that I'm not going to get into because thankfully not in that relationship anymore. But it was literally a whole thing of like constantly riding these rides and sliding all over the place. I'm just like, I'm not safe. Now, thankfully, I haven't had any of those night terrors anymore where I get flung off of a ride.
Oh, buddy.
Because I think everybody's had those dreams or night terrors before, right? Where you get like flung off of a ride and hit the ground and wake up.
I haven't. Not that. I mean, I've had my legs. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I've had the one where slightly different, same thing. When you're on a roller coaster and there's a cable hanging down and then your legs get chopped off. I've had that one.
I've never had that one.
Yeah, I haven't had the falling off one, but yeah, I've had ride dreams.
Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things where ever since then, thankfully, never had those night terrors again. And I think it's because I experienced it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But yeah, ever since then, I'm like, no, I'm never going to a theme park again until I get weight off because no, absolutely not. And then Disney's going to be a shit ton of steps. So I want to make sure that I'm in good enough shape to enjoy that. Also, Japan next year, that's going to be even more steps because Japan, you walk every fucking where.
Yeah, more steps and things are going to be generally smaller because Japanese people are generally smaller. You're a giant, my guy.
You're not going to be that much different, mate.
I know, and I'm already mentally preparing to be like, oh my god, look at all these cute clothes. I can't wear any of them.
Like, it's the thing. Like, I'm going to tower over you, and you're going to tower over everyone else.
We'll never lose each other.
No, absolutely not. Like, we will literally be able to see each other over the shelves, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's great.
Yeah. I'm terrified about. No, it'll be fine. I already in Canada see over the washroom stall doors. I see over those, so they don't consider that women get tall when they make those.
I think it's just kind of a like fix it for standard height, and then like you should be good in theory.
Yeah, but no,
it's never okay in practice.
Yeah. Like I could it's a thing. I can see right over there.
Yeah, I can only imagine how Japan's gonna go.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Anything else to say about Buddy Daddies? Where are we at?
I'll give it a solid 6.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm solid on a 6.5 because it's very entertaining. It's a very good, fun story to just watch and enjoy. It's quite bingeable. I do like that about it. The characters in general are fun and not too like they're just good characters. Miri's cute. I find her a little annoying, but then she's a bratty child and I hate children, so that's a me thing.
The comments were actually saying that a lot too, especially on the dub side of things.
Yeah.
Because obviously I watched it week to week subbed, and so therefore up until whenever I dropped it, whenever I was watching through it this time, I watched it subbed, or I watched it dubbed just to get caught back up, because that way I could focus on other shit that was happening while doing that. And people were just complaining so much about it. I'm like, okay, like I get it. Like, as someone who, as we talked about earlier, has the mantra of I love my godkids and nephews and, you know, all other children. Like, it's fine until they start crying. I'm like, here you go back.
Yeah, get rid of it.
So, like, I kind of get it. But also, it's an anime about a child. Like, get over it.
Yeah, I think that's... we also see, like, there's very specific gender role descriptions, like, that are implied with this show that is interesting, because Kazuki takes the role of motherhood. It's actually joked about throughout the show quite a bit, and with that role he also absorbs the characteristics of a housewife, or just a mom in general. He's working full-time like Ray is, although their jobs are not traditional, but he is also the sole person who cooks, cleans, and does all the laundry and maintenance of the house. Until he explodes and Ray has to pick up the slack and Miri has to start showing some appreciation for what he's doing. This is a common story that all of us, for the most part, are very familiar with. I feel like it's a huge generational thing, and it's actually been a discussion that I've been hearing about quite a bit, about how our generation, this current generation that's coming up, is the generation of, like, what they consider to be the lost romance. Because before, like, the boomer era and slightly beforehand were working husband, housewife. Then women got jobs, were able to work, like, legally allowed to. Like, my grandma was not legally allowed to work after she was married. She had to work illegally because they weren't making enough money. But, like, that was illegal. And then it became like women could work even after they're married. So then, because of feminism and shit, women were like, okay, well, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to maintain my job and I love my job and I'm going to work. But they were also still fulfilling the role of having a family and being a mother. So then they became a mother, were still a full-time employee, also working full-time at the house, cooking, cleaning, dishes and everything like that, because the men in who they were having babies with were raised by a woman who did everything at home. And so they were raised to believe that women should do everything at home, and they didn't know how to function outside of that. And so their wife became their mother, you know? Mm-hmm. And we all witnessed that. We saw that as a generation growing up, that that's how it is. You know, your mom works full-time, but she's also a mom full-time. Your dad works full-time, and then when he comes home, he gets to chill, right? Yeah. So the men of our generation are still... they saw their dad chilling and their mom doing all the work, and they still believe that's how that it goes. And I don't think it's a conscious thing. And I'm saying this is very general thing, so I know that not all men are like this, but that's just how it is. Like, they weren't raised to know all of that kind of stuff and to see that. However, the young girls who were raised in this generation witnessed their mom working full-time and cooking, cleaning, and all that jazz. And the vast majority of us picked up that slack for when our mums were too physically exhausted to do any more. Us girls are the ones who started taking on those tasks of doing the laundry, of, you know, getting the dishes done, helping with dinner, all of this kind of stuff. Like, how many guys don't know when Mother's Day is, or forget their mom's birthday and have to be reminded by their sisters? Like, it's a thing, it's known. And so there's like this divide right now between women who are like, I saw my mom do that, and I'm either going to be a mom and a housewife and do that, or I'm going to have a career and I'm not doing both. Like, I refuse. I saw how exhausted my mom is. I refuse. So I want an equal relationship where we both, like, do chores together and we both raise a kid together, or we're going to have specific roles that we, like, fully fulfill. Like, there's not going to be, like, what is this thing of me doing both, right? Yeah. And because of that, there's this disconnect. And so that's why they're saying we're the generation of lost romance, is because, like, we're not generationally on the same page. And so there's, like, this gender gap that's happening, of where guys are, like, expecting a lot of girls to fill in that role of what their mom did, but those girls are refusing to do so because they witnessed their mom do it and they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of displayed in a very interesting way throughout this anime, because both of the main characters are male. So it brings the communication of said subject into a realm where gender isn't a thing. Because I feel like people tend to get very heated when you make things about gender. But the argument is the same. You have one character that is working and taking care of everything, and one character that is doing what they want and working. So there's it's still, they're both working, but one character is also doing so much more.
Yeah.
And then you have this argument, this fight, and where Kazuki leaves and says that fuck it, I'm done. Women in that circumstance wouldn't get the same outcome that he gets, which creates an interesting discussion, because he's just allowed to blow off steam and then everyone's happy at end of day, you know? But like, in real life, that's not how that works.
No, it's not.
But I found that very interesting that this topic was brought up, and I also find it very, like, I don't know, like, it's solvable in this with two male characters, so it's solvable in real life with a male and a female. Like, it's fine. But, like, I don't know, I just thought about it a lot when I was watching this. I was like, okay, you know, they're actually providing a real base for a discussion on gender roles here, and I don't think they realize how much they're doing that. I don't know.
Well, so we've noticed that kind of as we've watched more modern anime. It's like they're slowly becoming more progressive with the conversations that they have in anime.
Yeah.
Like even the pride stuff that you noticed in the last episode of the Kaguya-sama film.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff like that. Just little bits kind of sprinkled in here or
Yeah.
there. So it's like it's kind of making its way into the conversation a little bit more and more as time goes along.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good thing to have those resolutions displayed in media like this. Like, it's a conversation that needs to happen in so many households, and to have it displayed, portrayed, and solved, and make the character who's upset about having to do all of this work not seem like a crazy bitch, you know?
Yeah.
Makes it such a casual conversation that allows it to be something that becomes more casual in real life, and not something that it necessarily explodes into a huge thing. I think that this is important, especially because a lot of young people love anime, watch anime, and absorb the ideas from anime. And there's a lot out there that isn't great about anime. We've spoken about it before, about the, like, jiggle physics and people being 3,000 years old dating someone who's 16 because it's fine, they're just a fairy, you know? Like, we make jokes about these things that are part of anime and part of, like, otaku culture that we've been experiencing our whole anime viewing lives, but they haven't changed up until, like, what, like a year ago?
Yeah, like, I think pretty much whenever Given came out, or like sometime kind of around that, whenever it started to become a little bit more of a mainstream idea, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just really good to see that some real conversations that, like, I'm not even saying, like, necessarily, like, you need to fully believe in everything that I believe in. Like, you don't have to. Like, you do you. But I think that it's important that we at least have conversations where the ability to have a thought out, structured discussion over issues that are a thing, you know, regardless of what side you're on, is the only way that we can move forward as a community. And that community can be you and your bestie, or like 1,000 people or 100,000 people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And putting, like, small little tidbits of that throughout shows that are just for funsies is really good to see, because it just, I don't know, it just expands people's brains, and the idea of, like, that it's okay to just talk about it. Like, you don't need to agree with me, but like at least we can have a discussion over it.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Like, I think these days it's a lot more important to leave things open for discussion.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what gets lost a little bit with our generation, is everybody is so worried about being right rather than just like actually having the conversation itself.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think like it's going to continue to get better as, you know, the conversations are brought up more and more, and hopefully people will begin to see see that side of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain fried.
Yeah, we had a heavy topic on the end there, but like,
yeah,
it's just, I just enjoy the fact that these small little things are being included more and more in anime. And I do notice them and I appreciate them. Because it just like allows for conversations in the comment sections of Crunchyroll to like have some substance to them, which is more than it was 2 years ago, you know?
Oh, 100% agree. Like, just the overall like topics and conversations, like both in the comment section of Crunchyroll and like the conversations that you and I are having now, like are growing as time goes along.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love some jiggle physics.
I mean, we watched Keijo for episode 69 for a reason.
Yep. I am a bisexual.
I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
Everybody loves boobs. Even straight women.
I mean, you can't go wrong with them.
Yeah, even gay men. Everybody loves boobs. Boobs are just great.
They are great.
Yeah. So 6.5s across the board.
Yeah. I gotta pull up the schedule to see what we're doing next week because I can't remember shit.
The Way of the House Husband. Speaking of gender roles.
Look at that. Wow, what a way to segue into next week's topic.
Honestly.
Oh, God. And I cannot wait for you to watch this. Oh, and I wish I could convince you to watch the dub for this.
Do you hear the dog?
I do hear the dog, actually.
My window is closed.
Barf, barf, bow,
barf,
bark. Bond?
Too little for Bond. Bond is a borf. That's a barf.
Borf. Sounds like the asshole neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
Oh, poor little Coco. They got a little like miniature poodle. She bark a lot. And you got Gracie the door bull.
Okay, bye.
Socials, Blue Lavenders, if you want to follow Blue on literally everything else other than Twitch, because she no longer streams. Brad Guerin for me on Instagram, and Brad Carter Gaming on Twitch. I stream occasionally now. I've streamed twice in the past week because we've had 2 court cases. Oh my goodness, that was stress and a half as far as RP goes this past week.
Yeah.
It's been fun, but hey, I wore a suit on stream yesterday. So that was good. Also, like that was my like most attended Twitch stream ever. So I'm very pleased with that. That was very good. Oh, thanks. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Just the little like bits back into stream here or there. Like I've enjoyed. And then be forward fuck, I can speak. I can do words. Be sure to look forward to the many more projects and stuff we have coming up because we've got some very, very cool things in the works.
Yeah.
So,
Ren Fair vlog will be coming out at some point. I have lots of footage, so I'm filtering through it right now.
And BnB Gaming with the D&D thing will also be coming soon. We've got everybody confirmed, and we've got a little bit of backstory and stuff to go. And then I just got to figure out how to set up the whole recording process for it. So I've got somebody I can reach out to about that. But once we get that figured out, we'll get everything rolling on that. But until then, we'll catch y'all next time. Love you. Bye.
Bye.